The chandeliers illuminated the grand ballroom, casting a warm, golden glow. A slaughter and music filled the air, glasses clinketed in celebration. And the scent of high-end perfume lingered and tarred my heels, echoing against a marble floor, and conversations. Vaulted heads turned, and whispers spread like wildfire as people recognized me, orderly to process the sight before them at the far end of the room. My mother, Relina Evans, went rigid. Her champing shook in her hand. Beside her, Alice's, her flawless daughter, stood frozen, the color draining from her face, despite the layers of expertly applied makeup. But it was Dylan's reaction I'd been most eager to see. His fingers tightened round his glass, his knuckles turning white, the blood draining from his face. Not shock, fear. I smiled. Congratulations, Alice, I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Her hands trembled, the ring on her finger shifting slightly. What are you doing here? Before I could respond, my mother stepped forward, her voice sharp yet quiet enough to avoid drawing attention. Leave now. I tilted my head. Fignificence. Why would I do that? My dear sister is getting married. Surely y'all wouldn't turn away family on such an important day. Eleanor's lips quivered. Not family. Not after you threw me out at 17. I cut her off smoothly. Ah, yes, such fond memories. He grabbed a champagne glass from a passing waiter, swirling the golden liquid lazuli. Time changes things, doesn't it? Dylan remained, frozen, his silence almost enturning. Hello, Dylan, I said. Soft eyes stiffened. Alice's frown deepened as glance between us. Wait, do you two know each other? I let my smile widen. Oh, sweetheart, we don't just know each other. Dylan swallowed hard. Alice's confusion grew, but my mother was already seething. Whatever game you're playing again and now, she snapped. I took a slow sip of champagne, letting the tension simmer. Oh, but I've only just arrived. Around us, the murmurs grew louder. Some guests had completely abandoned their conversations, drawn in by the spectacle unfolding before them. From the corner of my eye, I saw Aunt Margaret. Cautiously, she had been the only one who hesitated that night, the only one who most spoke up for me. Camilla, she murmured. I nodded in acknowledgement. Margaret, it's been a long time. Alice finally found her voice. Again, you're ruining my wedding. I chuckled. Oh, darling, I haven't even started dialing chance. Trembled. The man who betrayed Mezzocry years ago was now standing bare me, marrying the very sister who had cast me aside. Poetic. I raised my glass in a slow, deliberate toast to love, trust, and secrets that refused to stay buried. Dylan's face turned a shade Pelorian. Alice's expression darkened. I had to turn, and I wasn't leaving until the truth shattered everything. As soon as Alice grabbed Dylan's wrist and dragged him toward the hallway, I knew the cracks had begun to show. I followed at a leisurely pace, watched her pull him into a secluded corridor, her grip tightening. Explain, she hissed as soon as they were alone. How do you know her? Dylan's gaze flicked to me over Alice's holder, his expression unreal. He turned back to Alice Hestro, bobbing as he spoke. She's noon. A soft laugh escaped me, making Gallus tense. Oh, Dylan, I murmured, taking a step closer, lying so easily. Even now Alice's eyes darted between us. Dylan Heeks held, sharply forcing calmness into his voice. Years ago, I knew Camille briefly before she left. I raised an eyebrow. You knew me before you left? Melissa's mouth parted slightly, confusion including. Okay. Her face. Dylan shot me a silent warning. But I wasn't finished. It's funny, Scent. I continued, my tone darkening. How small the world is. One moment you're ringed to a man who promises you forever. The next, he's standing at the altar with your sister. Alice's breath caught in her throat, engaged. Dylan defended, his hands curling into fist. Camilla, he dumped you, I said coldly. Why not? You lied to her, just like you led to me. Alice turned to Dylan, disbelief flashing in her eyes. Tell me she's lying. Dylan said nothing. I took a step back, savoring the moment as the truth began to unfold. Soon, everything Dylan had so carefully buried from the past would come crashing down, tearing apart everything he'd built. I made my way back into the grand ballroom, the sound of my heels clicking sharply against the polished marble floor, the lively chatter of guests, the clinking of champagne glasses, and the warm golden glow of chandeliers all set the perfect stage for the spectacle. I had orchestrated. I slipped into my seat at the table near the dance floor, catching Dylan's waragazi from across the room. His arm was protectively wrapped around Elise West, but the way he held her seemed almost desperate. The toasts began, one after the other, as guests took turns praising the perfect couple. I waited, savoring each sip of wine, a small smile curling the corners of my lips as the moment drew closer. Finally, Elise's father raised his glass, beaming to my beautiful daughter and her incredible husband-to-be, he said. May their future filled with love, honesty, and success. Chuckled softly, honesty, I murmured to myself, the irony not lost on me standing up. 8. I lifted my glass, and the room fell silent. Alice's eyes narrowed, and Dylan stiffened. Beside her, I smiled, sweet, locking eyes with him. Dylan, I was just reminiscing about old times. Tell me, do you still enjoy those little backroom deals? A ripple of confusion ran through the crowd. Dylan's fingers tightened around his champagne flute. I don't know what you're talking about, he said, quickly, his voice strained. I reached the dental, my clutch pulling out my phone thinlets. Refresh your memory, I said, tapping the screen. Suddenly, Dylan's voice echoed through the speakers. They'll never trace it back to me. The numbers are buried. No one will ever know. A gasp swept through the guests. Dylan's face drained of colorant. Alice turned to him, her expression sharp. What is she talking about? No thing, Dylan snapped, but his voice faltered. I tilted my head, a smirk tugging at my lips. Oh, Dylan, I purred. You always were such a smooth liar. But teething about secrets is that Dane never stay buried forever. The silence in the room was deafening. The trap had been set, and Dylan had walked right into it. Whispers started to buzz around the room. Melissa's eyes darted between Dylan and Mahar. Perfectly crafted world starting to crumble under the weight of doubt. Dylan's face had turned even paler, his lips pressed tightly into an unconvincing line of denial. But I wasn't done yet. With slow, deliberate movements he turned toward Alice. Oh, but dear sister, let's not pretend you're innocent in Althus. Alice scoffed, flipping her over her shoulder. What nonsense are you spewing now? I reached into my clutches, again pulling out a neatly folded document and holding it up for all to see. This, my dear Alice's proof that you never graduated from medical school. A wave of gasps rippled through the crowd. A few guests, including some hood-trusted Alice, as their doctor took visible steps back. Alice's confident smirk faltered. That's a lie, she spat, but I didn't let her finish. You forget your degree, I said, my voice cold. Your pittance, trusted a fraud. The words hung in the air, sinking into the silence. Alice's composure cracked like fragile eggless. The murmurs of the room turned into open accusations. She had surgeoned her care. Someone murmured in horror. Is that true? Dylan demanded, his voice trembling with rage. Alice's eyes frantically searched the room, looking for any way out. This is absurd. Mom, Dad, say something, she pleaded. I turned to our parents, who were standing frozen, their faces drained to fall color. You didn't, I said calmly, my voice cutting through the tension. You helped her lie, just like you helped Petillon cover up his crimes. My father stammered. Camilla, this isn't the time or place. Oh, I think this is the perfect time and place, I interrupted, my voice steady. You threw me out for buying worthless, but look who the real frauds are. The air in the room thickened, suffocating us with the weight of family secrets laid bare for everyone to see. There was no escaping the truth now. Their accounting had arrived at the ballroom. Door suddenly flew open, and the buzz of conversation ceased at once. The room tensed as uniformed officers strode in there, faces hard and stern. The silence was deafening, and gasps filled the ears. They made their way. Inside, Alice went to Jid, her perfectly manicured fingers digging into Dylan's sleeve. Our mother gasped her face. Ash and I stepped forward, me, heart steady, and whispered, "Right, Auntie." The look of confusion on my family's faces shifted to one of pure horror, as one of the officers held up an arrest warrant. Dylan Carter, you were under arrest for embezzlement, fraud, and conspiracy. Dylan's champagne flute slipped from his hand, shattering on the floorwood. His voice cracked as he turned told us, This isn't real, Alice, tell them." Alice couldn't answer. She weaseled ready, backing away as another officer stepped forward. "Alice, Moore, you're under investigation for medical malpracticing. For practicing without a valid degree." "No," Alice whispered, her composure slipping as panic took hold. "This is happening, Camilla," you vindictiveness began. But I cut her off. "I didn't forge your diploma," I said coldly. "You did, all on your own." Our father, once so composed, now turned red with fury. "This is a setup. You think you can destroy us?" The lead officer turned to him, highest expression unchanging. "Mr. Moore, your financial records are under federal litigation. I suggest you get a lawyer or a mother," crumpled into a chair, sobbing while Alice and Dylan struggled helpless against the officers. As they were led away, Alice whipped her head around, her eyes full of fury. "You'll regret this, Camilla." I smiled faintly. "No, Alice, I've never been freer." As the doors closed behind my disgraced family, guests erupted into whispers. I was no longer the helpless girl they once cast aside like a stray kitten. The girl they had abandoned had won not through revenge, but through the truth. With that he turned, stepping into the night, my future, wide-open friends. "What do y'all think of the story?" I asked pals and B4. It's a camera. Write your opinions in the comments. Want to hear more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.